And then on this right side, going into the barrel, aging, and then into a bottle, is how it's done, kind of like the industry standard way of doing it, going in at 125. And on this left side, going all the way down to the bottle, is how we do it here. Michter is going in at 103. And in this example, just to have a common goal, we both want to bottle a whiskey, let's say at 91 proof. 138 proof off the still. Legally, they got to get it down to 145. So that's not much of a drop in proof. So they can pack that barrel with the hearts, with that distillate, then add a tiny bit of water on top. Proof it down to 125, water it down to 125. Years later, that whiskey now is ready to go into a bottle, but it's going to be a very high proof because it started so high. Now, let's say 135 proof whiskey in that bottle. 135 proof in the barrel down to 91 proof in the bottle is a big drop in proof. So at bottling, lots of water has to be added. This water is just clear, flavorless water that you're adding to this point. And that's how you can maximize profit, because all this water being added at bottling takes up lots of space in the bottle. So you can make lots of bottles for every barrel of whiskey and make some money. This is a totally fine way to make whiskey, not trashing anyone else's methods whatsoever. How we do it here, 138, we want it down to 103 in the barrel. So with our barrels, far less distillate, a lot more water to get it all the way down to 103. This is very, very expensive to do, as Andrea was talking about, because this makes us have to use a lot more barrels to keep up with demand. What she didn't mention, though, is that why it's so expensive. The government taxes by the barrel. So if we're using like 20% more barrels by doing it this way, we are paying 20% more taxes every year to the government, and trust me, they get their share. So we do it for a couple reasons. One, all that water in the barrel will be aging, if you will. It'll be getting color and flavor from the wood over the years. If all that water is just being added at bottling, again, that's just clear water. Also, the writer Mike Michter, he talked about the tannins in that barrel that cause that heartburn sensation. The water in the barrel over the years will kind of get into the wood and dilute out those tannic compounds, making, as he said, a smoother whiskey. Years later, that whiskey is ready to go into a bottle, but it's going to be only about 110 proof or so because it started much lower. 110 proof in the barrel, down to 91 in the bottle. Not as big of a drop in proof, so we add less water at this stage here. We're adding more water at the barreling stage, not the bottling stage. That's kind of the crux of it.